Hey guys, it's Lex Roche
and Courtney Noir,
and you are listening to another episode of The Pleasure's All Yours.
We are a podcast all about the sexual liberation of the Black and queer communities.
We really wanted to create a space for us to talk, laugh, kiki, and really emphasize how the pleasure is.
It's all yours. Hey, Lex Roche.
Oh, what's up, Courtney Noir?
What's going on?
You know, another day in the stew.
You know, good times, good moments.
Yeah, back in our usual room.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know you really didn't like that last one.
That room in particular was very hot. Like, this room is going to be warm. I understand because of the window. But, like, girl, I was sweating. I couldn't even focus on anything else.
Oh, no.
And plus, we were drinking.
We were, yeah. We did have some champagne.
Yeah, but if you did watch our last episode, we were in a dark and scary room, and now we're back in the girls' room because this is a girls' pod.
Yeah.
Well, if you've never listened to us before, we like to start off every episode with a pleasure moment. And a pleasure moment is just any part of your week that you found to be like extra joyous and beautiful and gave you a little bit of pleasure. It can be as little as buying a cup of coffee or as big as
Paying off your car.
paying off your car. Oh my God. Hell yeah. I love that one.
That's a good pleasure moment.
Hell yeah. Lex, what was your pleasure moment this week?
Well, my aunt came by this weekend. She came over Friday night and they just stayed the night. They left Saturday afternoon. But she kept saying all week that she had a surprise for me, and I was like, oh, okay. I thought she was just gonna bring my cousin's kid, and who like I adore, you know. And it wasn't just my cousin's kid, it was my cousin as well, and she's my favorite cousin. So her and her two kids came, and my aunt came, and it was just so nice. Like, as soon as, especially the kids, like, as soon as, and like, I haven't seen them in so long, so like them getting so excited to see me was just so great. And the girl, she literally like grabbed my hand immediately. We're here for the whole day tomorrow. I was like, yeah, girl. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I'm like, what are we going to do? She's like, I don't know. I was like, okay.
So they just drove up here for the day?
Yeah.
For the night?
Yeah, And then we went to the botanical gardens. If you are in Dallas, the Arboretum from August 1st to the 31st, they have like dollar summer days where it's only $3 to get in.
Really?
Like, anywhere in the park, it's $3 to get in. So it was 5 of us, and it was $20
That's
to
amazing.
go because we paid for parking too.
Right.
But yeah, it was super fun. It's really hot outside, but like so many of the plants that they have like thrive in the heat and humidity. So it was just really gorgeous. They do have like some waterfalls and stuff, which is cooling, which is nice. But yeah, it was just super fun. And, you know, I love plants and vegetation. Yeah. So it was just really nice to like be outside. And those kids are so funny. The boy, he's like, I think he's like 1 or 2. I've never seen a child that small be so expressive. Like, you'd say something to him and he'd
like just exasperated.
He would just go, ugh.
He's frustrated.
Oh, and we would be like, are you serious right now? And he's just staring at you.
Sir, you've only had like 600 days on this earth. Yes. Like, what could you possibly be so frustrated about?
And where did you learn this from? Like, why are you this exasperated all the time? But he doesn't have his front teeth, so he just has his 2 little pointy teeth. So he looks like a little vampire.
I love that.
I was like, blah, blah, blah. And every time I saw him, it was super cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like that. And how old is your favorite cousin?
She turns 29 this year.
Oh, wow. She looks young.
Yeah,
She looks younger than us. I thought she was
she's
like
2 years
18.
older than 2 years, technically, yeah.
I love
she was,
that.
yeah. But
okay.
She's a Libra, October 1st Libra.
Ooh. Yeah.
So
lots of Libras.
cuspy. Yeah, and then my aunt is a Virgo, and I don't remember what the kids are. I think the boy's a Leo, and I think the girl is maybe a Sag.
That's a lot of big personalities.
Oh, yes. And the girl, she does not, like, she's asking questions. That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Wow, I thought it did.
Yeah.
Well, I love that you got to see your family for a little bit and do a bunch of things that you love, like going to the botanical garden.
I made them breakfast too. It was really nice. We had chocolate chip waffles, and eggs and bacon, and some slices of fruit.
That sounds great.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds like the ultimate breakfast.
Yeah. What about you, Court? What was your pleasure moment?
I think my pleasure moment. Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, break it up, break up my week. I think my pleasure moment was definitely like going. I think I spent a lot of time out this week.
Yeah.
But I was home before like 9:00 every night. But I was enjoying myself after work.
Yeah.
And I really love that for me. Like, I think might have been Wednesday that we went to the Dallas Black Queer Collective
that is what it was.
at Lady Love, which they host at the end of every month, every last Wednesday of the month at Lady Love. So if you are interested in meeting more Black queer fun folk, definitely come out to that, and then, you know, volunteer with the organization, go to all their other events. So shout out to Dallas Black Queer Collective. But I also went to a happy hour with my coworkers. I saw a movie this week, Long Legs. 6 out of 10.
Oh.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, okay.
People were really like raving.
Yeah,
or they were really excited about it before it came out. But it was not giving. But anyway.
I want to see that M. Shyamalama movie.
Oh, okay. You let me know how that was. M. Shyamalama.
Is that his name?
M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh.
Yeah. I got you. I knew who he was talking about.
I'm like, is that not his name?
He has like consistently let me down for like the last decade with his movies.
Maybe because he's getting old.
Maybe. But like they haven't been good. So let me know if that's good, and then I will definitely go see it.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my pleasure moment. I think just being out on the streets, honey.
Yeah.
But now I'm super fucking tired and also like a little sicky. So like, I don't know what that's up, you know.
Yeah.
What else do we? Oh, I have a fun fact.
Ooh, I love
I'm
that.
like not even used to that. I don't even know where to slide it in.
Come on, fun facts.
So I got this from Gay Times, the magazine / blog, internet blog. And on July 18th, local lawmakers updated the Mexico City Penal Code to classify trans femicide as a crime with a prison sentence between 35 and 70 years.
Yes.
Trans femicide is a term used by Latin American activists to describe violence specifically against trans women and femmes. And they've christened the legislation the Paula Buenrostro Law in memory of a trans woman who was sadly shot and killed in 2016, aged 25.
I think I remember reading that article when it happened.
Really? I had not heard of it before this, but I'm so glad that finally they decided to put this in place. I should have done my research after I saw this, but I'm not aware if there is a specific like law in place for trans people and like violence against trans people that's not just a hate crime. Because I know they love to classify things as a hate crime, but like, does that really do
like
anything?
5 to something years.
Yeah, like this is 25 to 70 years.
Yeah, that's your life right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't say necessarily like murder.
Yeah.
So it just says violence against trans women and femmes, which
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like I said, if we have a rule like that.
Yeah.
But it does say Mexico City is the second location within the country to classify trans femicide as a crime, with the state of Nayarit introducing prison sentences up to 60 years as of earlier this year. This newly introduced law makes it possible for a victim's friends to be involved in the case-specific outcomes, including identifying and claiming the bodies, which I know can be...
That is really important.
That is so important, considering a lot of these people do not have family members that are willing to come forward and even identify them or have a connection with their family at all. So to say that, you know, your chosen family can come and act as your family is amazing. I mean, I just thought I should bring that up as a fun fact. I mean, it's never fun. Violence is never fun, but it is great to know that there are strides being taken in other countries to support the trans community.
Yeah, and it's protect trans women till the day I die.
Till the day I die, honey. So yeah, that was our fun fact.
Love it. Shout out to Mexico City.
Yes, and Nayarit. So last week we talked like briefly about like some of the struggles of dating femmes.
Well,
you know,
online, but yes.
I mean, I said dating femmes.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about last week, specifically. But that because we are talking about our experiences on her, as well as Instagram, and you know
any other app that you gotta swipe.
Right, exactly. Like any social media type app.
Yeah.
Online dating can be hard, especially for queer people, even though we do have apps that are like dedicated to us, you know, like Grindr for gay and bisexual queer men. And then like Her for the lesbian,
femme,
bisexual.
Yeah.
gay women. I'm sorry. So they use a lot in the article I'm using. They used a lot of terms like they kept saying this article represents your sexual orientation, not your gender orientation. So I'm going to be using that a lot. I'm going to be saying lesbian, bisexual women, gay, bisexual men.
Yeah.
But it does include trans people. They just put those people within the sexual
gender,
orientation.
yeah.
No, the sexual orientation that you
identify as.
Yeah, identify as. So I guess because the sample size was so small, that just made it easier. But anyway, so the Pew Research Center did a study back in 2022. Ooh. And they found that queer people are actually twice as likely to use dating apps than straight people. 51% of queer people say that they've used a dating app in the past as compared to the 28% of straight people, which actually seemed kind of low to me.
Well, I mean, straight people are everywhere and you can kind of pick them out and like
that's so true.
Speak to each other in a language that isn't code like gay people do.
Facts.
So I feel like that's pretty easy. And like I know a lot of people meet their partners through their friends because like friends will be like, oh, you should meet this person.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just chat about like our experiences using the dating apps. Across all ages, it seems like 54% of queer people have between the ages of 18 and 49 have used a dating app. It actually doesn't even go down that much at 39% of 50 to 64-year-old queer people have used dating apps, and 30% of 65 and older have used a dating app.
Because where as an old person are you finding like gay older people?
Yeah, unless like you've just built your community as you've grown. Like outside of that, where are you meeting these people?
And like I know a lot of older people, they aren't like as loud and out about their sexuality because that's not how
that wasn't the norm. That's how they grew up.
So it kind of takes them a while to like acclimate to that.
Okay. I guess because I have always put my age preferences between a certain amount. I think like 45 is as old as I've swiped.
Yeah.
I've never seen 65 and older or 50 through 65, 64-year-olds on the apps, but I know that they're there. And maybe I will. Like, maybe I'll slide up.
I'm excited for when I turn 30 and my dating profiles turn 30 because I know that is usually like, for older people, they're like, I ain't dating no bitch in their 20s. And so, like, usually it'll be like 30, 31.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a good point.
I want a MILF real bad.
It's in your future.
Yeah. Not to take care of the kids, just because, like, MILFs are sexy.
Yeah. And mature and responsible. Obviously, gay men are more likely to have ever used a dating app or are currently on one. 57% of gay men have used the app or are currently on one versus the 46% of queer women that are on these apps. I did kind of add in a little bit about apps versus each other. So like Tinder ranked the highest for overall queer people, which was so surprising to me. And then Grindr obviously dominates the gay male and bisexual men. And then Bumble was more common for lesbian and bisexual women. So her, Hinge, and OkCupid all kind of like fell like right in the middle for lesbian and bisexual women, but Bumble actually Bumble and Tinder beat out her. So that had me thinking like maybe I need to diversify my portfolio.
Yeah.
You know, because I have been on her just kind of like stuck in the same rut. And also these people's algorithms, like I'm sure the designer of her app has a different algorithm than the designer of their Tinder app. So maybe you might get different hits based on your profile. And I know it also is going to depend on the city that you're in.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're in New York, maybe, what is that app called? Field? Have you heard of Field?
Oh, yeah.
Field might be good because there are a lot of poly, open, queer people.
That one's not very good for here in Dallas.
No, because there's
like nobody on there.
Right. Like, there's not a whole lot of polyamorous queer. Probably not the type of queer we're looking for on those apps. Usually when I was on Field, when I was on Field in Lubbock, Texas, because why was I doing that? When I was on Field in Lubbock and then I came here and did the same thing. Yeah, it was a lot of like older, like in their 30s and 40s, like white straight couples looking for unicorns to like experiment with or like have a relationship with, go to the two-step club with.
Yeah.
You know, like those kind of things. So here, maybe like, what would you try if you were a queer woman? Like, what app would you recommend?
I mean, I did have like some good matches when I was on Tinder. The only thing is that like I like how when you're scrolling on Hinge or you're swiping on Hinge that it curates who they show you next by who you're swiping right on.
Yes. Like,
and that is like the main thing about the dating apps that I really hate, the other ones that they don't do.
Yes.
Because it's like I spend so much time swiping left because like I want queer people of color.
Right.
And there's not a filter you can put on
Right.
to only show you those, even in the like Tinder Plus, which I will never and have never paid for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I would probably say like Hinge. Bumble is good. Whenever I was on Bumble, that you can, it just is kind of hard to feel out because like some people really say that they're on there to find connections, but they're just wanting to chat.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, but like Bumble is pretty good for queer people. There are a lot of queer people on Bumble.
I had Bumble for a while, and I don't know if it was.
It's just really white.
Yeah, the interface to me also wasn't very intuitive, like not necessarily like algorithmically, but like I just didn't like the process of building my profile on Bumble. And then yeah, it does seem like it's like a kind of specific like level of white women, like the kind that go to like Katie Ice house or whatever that like those kinds of restaurants, or like spend their time like in Greenville, like like SMU, like private school kind of white women.
Yeah, like suburban.
Blonde white women is what I think of when I see Bumble.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really for me. But I haven't tried Tinder since 2019. Yeah. And whenever some people tell me that they are currently on Tinder, I am like, what? Like what? But maybe I need to try it again. Yeah. Like I'm really pigeonholing myself by only using her.
It's just so saturated. Like I think that's the one thing about Tinder is that there are so many profiles and so many people consistently on there that it just kind of makes it hard to sift through like who's on here just to fuck, because we all know like most time that you're on Tinder, you're on there trying to hook up, which nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to like connect with people, that's where I kind of find it hard, because most people are on there for the instant gratification because they know they can get it from that app. Yeah. So, you know.
That being said, let's run through these apps, and I want you to tell me like the word that you think of when you hear it, like friendship, hookup, whatever, you know?
Okay.
Okay, Cupid.
Old.
Love it. Grinder.
Gay.
Match.
Marriage.
Hell yeah. Farmers Wanted.
Slavery.
Black.
40 plus black community, very slightly homophobic, and really should just be hiring a sex worker for what they're looking for.
We're killing it. Hinge.
Friendship connection and like long-term sexual relationships.
Bumble.
Friends.
I'm missing one. Oh, Plenty of Fish.
Marriage.
Really?
That's what I think.
When I think of Plenty of Fish, I think of long distance internet people that live on the internet. They maybe like gamers, like people that do not socialize, antisocial long distance. I feel like people get on Plenty of Fish and they're like, oh, I'm in Beaumont, Texas, and I found a bitch in Shreveport, Louisiana. We about to
Y'all from Shreveport?
We about to be locked the fuck in.
Yeah,
that's what I think of when I think of Plenty of Fish.
But to be consistent in doing that, I would assume that you're looking for a long-term partner.
Yeah, just one that you'll never have to meet in person, because neither of you guys will have the means to do that.
Yeah.
But
what was the other one you said that I said?
Okay,
marriage?
Cupid.
Okay, Cupid. Plenty of Fish. Match. Those all give marriage to me.
Yeah.
Because like most of the time you have to pay to like actually use the main features that you need. Like you have to have a subscription to do that, or you get like 3 swipes a day.
See, maybe I should have like spent more time curating this, because I like and like have downloaded these apps myself because I have not used Plenty of Fish since I was in Lubbock, and I was using Plenty of Fish because there was just never enough Black people on any of the apps, and so I would just try them all. But to me, Plenty of Fish was giving hella ghetto. It was giving ghetto.
That's how I feel about seeking arrangements as well.
Oh, don't even get me bitch, don't even get me started on a motherfucking seeking arrangements. I mean, first of all, it's not really dating, you know.
But people go on there to find that, though.
Clearly, because you're not doing what the app is intended for. You're wasting
an
time.
arrangement. It's not a relationship of any kind.
What do you mean you're a 47-year-old Middle Eastern man and you're getting on seeking arrangements and you're saying, I want a woman that can treat me how I deserve to be treated and wants to have a long-term relationship that is not just based on what I have in my bank account. You're on seeking arrangements.
All you about to get is sugar babies, and especially because you mentioned your bank account
and
the
pissed
way
off sugar babies.
and the way you mentioned your bank account is letting me know that you have mad shit in there. So
or that he doesn't have anything.
Take your broke ass to Tinder then.
That was great. Thank you. Because that's like you pretty much on par. So if you are looking to expand your portfolio, maybe take a listen to Lex's comments on each one and then pick from what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of girls on her or people on her that say they're looking for friendships and connections. And like I said, I am as well. But now that I'm thinking about, like, maybe I should just go to Bumble for that. Like, why are we crowding the her space?
Yeah.
For the bitches that are trying to fuck, for the bitches that are trying to date, for the bitches that are trying to do other things.
Yeah. There are a lot of, like, women on there that are, like, I'm monogamous. I'm not looking for that threesome shit. Like, you know, they're looking for long term. And I always end up, like, swiping left because I'm like, unless you mean long term friendship, like...
Yeah, I mean,
I can't guarantee anything for you, babes.
It's good that you're being realistic. I also try to do the same thing. Like, okay, these people are looking for long-term relationships. I'm not looking for that right now. I'm going to go ahead and swipe left. Like, why waste my time? Same for the people that see my profile that says I'm looking for experiences, fun opportunities to meet new people and build my community. That's what my profile says. But then you're coming and you're like, wondering why I don't want to be in a serious relationship or why maybe like a date is not my priority.
Yeah.
Like, so I know we all have different experiences within dating apps, especially depending on your race, your gender presentation, and your body type. So like, we can't say that this white, blonde lesbian 25 years old in Dallas is having the same experience as this trans woman, this Asian trans woman from, I don't know, like a smaller town, like Tyler, Texas. Y'all are not having the same experiences on dating apps. So I wanted to ask you, like, what has your overall experience been based on like how you present yourself on your dating apps?
I think like I've had some really good matches, and I think I've had some that have not been as great, but overall, like, I haven't had an experience that's so bad that's kind of like sworn me off them. But I mean, it's just very like, I feel very indifferent towards them. That's like the best way to say it. But like the last few times I met someone on an app and we went out and did something, I just kind of like, there was only one of those instances where I felt like I was kind of catfish with the person, mostly because like people present a certain way online most of the time, and then you meet them in person. And I don't even mean like catfish in like the way they looked, because like they looked just like their profile, except for that other time. But the time that I'm talking about, she like the woman that I was meeting, she just was very like, I don't know, we talked a lot in the messages, but like personality when we were together was like non-existent. So I was like, why am I holding the conversation?
And this is in person?
Yeah. I'm like, why am I
But she was bright and bubbly over text?
Yes. So it was like very, very odd. And then like whenever we were leaving and she was like texting me, she was like, oh, you know, I'd really love to go out again, blah, blah, blah. So like, we hit it off. Like,
clearly
it seems
she
like
enjoyed herself enough to want to do it again.
Yes, but I was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this if every time we hang out, like, I feel like I'm the yapper, you know? Like, we both need to be yapping equal amounts.
The first few dates for sure.
Yeah.
Where did you meet them?
I think on her.
On her.
Yeah.
What other dating apps have you had recently?
Hinge. I haven't been on Bumble in a while, but I have been on Hinge. And, like, I've matched with a few, like, really great people, but, like, the conversation ebbs out after a while.
Yeah.
And it's not even just them. Sometimes it's me.
For sure.
Because, like, my priority isn't on the app. Like, I don't have a priority to be on the app or anything like that. So, like, if I get busy or if, like, I see the notification and I'm like, oh, I'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's 2 days later. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, you know, so I think it's a little bit of both. But there has been one person that I matched with recently and we were just, like, really chatting. I was like, oh, my God, we should, like, totally go and do something. Like, not even on a dating aspect. Like, she just seemed really cool.
Totally.
I was like, damn, we should hang out, you know? And then, like, radio silence.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have not even, like, heard anything back from this person. So I don't know, like, it kind of makes it hard, especially because I'm one of those people that, like, reads your profile. I'm creating a message personalized to you based off the profile that you have given on the app. And so then I send the message and I'm like, oh, like, you like this? Like, oh, tell me how long you've been doing that? Something like starting a conversation, asking questions that feel more like getting to know you rather than, like, just a general, like, how's your day going? Yeah. And this one, especially, like, it was so disappointing because, like, this one trans girl, she had, like, this profile and I was like, oh my God, this is like I love everything that's here. And I'm trying to talk to her and she just gave me, like, 1-word answers. Like, why did you match with me?
Yeah.
And then this is what you're bringing, you know? So it just is, like, one of those things where I'm like, I'm also not trying to expel all my amazing and fabulous energy for someone who's just going to be like, okay,
indifferent
whatever.
about it.
Yeah, like,
absolutely.
Like, I don't know. And I have, like, I don't know. I'm like, girl, and I have so many, like, looks that I've gone through on my profile. So it's like, if I show up with braids, this is what I'm going to look like.
Right.
If I show up bald, this is what I'm going to look like.
You're very open. You want people to know upfront what they're getting from you.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is the kind of profile that I enjoy. And maybe that's why we matched together on Tinder all those years ago.
Exactly.
Because I knew you was a real bitch.
Yeah.
Okay? I have pretty much the same issue as, like, really, like, I talked about it last week, but specifically on her, like, it's almost like I will purposefully match with somebody that fits my profile. They say, I'm looking for fun experiences, like, very low-key, friendship, community building. Those are, like, the keys where I'm like, absolutely, like, let's match, because I want to talk about the podcast. I want to talk about, like, your experience just living here as a Black queer person. Like, I want to talk about all of that. So I want somebody that is very open, and that's typically what I go for. However, it'll say stuff like, they'll say, don't hit me up, or don't like if you don't plan on reaching out or wanting to meet up. So I'm like, perfect. I want to meet up. I will send them a message. I'll be like, hey, love your profile, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And, like, we'll get to talking. And then I'll say, okay, do you want to meet for coffee? Do you want to, like, go to this event? Like, I'm very specific with what I want to do. And then it'll be radio silence. Yeah. Or they'll be like, oh, well, I'm busy this week, but I would love to hang out sometime. Okay. When?
Yeah.
Like, their app will say exactly what they want, but then when the option presents itself, it's just, like, still not there.
That's why I say I think it's just that instant gratification feeling that you get when you match with someone. It's like, ooh, somebody likes me.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, then I feel like people should really evaluate why they're on the app for real.
Yeah.
And, like, be true to that. Because, like, if you're just on the app to chat, like, say that.
I'm just on the app to chat.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm not really looking to meet in person, anything like that, you know, like, whatever. I don't know. I just feel like also ask yourself why you're getting on it. And if you're only getting on it just to chat with people, like, bitch, you better go start inboxing people on Instagram or something. Like,
how do you feel about the ones that give their number to you, like, right away? Like, that's the first message they send. Like, hey, I'm not really on the apps, text me.
I don't really like that.
Yeah.
Because like I'm on the app I'm trying to vet you. That's what the app is for.
Right.
The app is literally a vetting process. It's like an interview kind of thing. I'm trying to see if we can match it, like besides thinking that you're pretty and you seem fun, like I'm trying to see if you're like a real person. Like, are you surface level or are you going to be real with me, you know? So
no, it's a no for
yeah,
you.
it's a no. It's a no for me.
It always feels a little scammy to me. Like, are you trying to get my Zelle? Are you trying to fuck me over?
Yeah, and I most of the time I will say like, oh, you know, I just feel a little more comfortable getting to know you here, and like if we hit it off, I would very much like we can go ahead and exchange numbers. But like, I don't even like giving my number to people on the streets.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You know,
I wish there was like a little in between. Like sometimes I'll say like, oh well, I have my Instagram, whatever, and I usually just do that so that I can see their Instagram.
Yeah,
and see like if the vibe makes sense, and then maybe I'll decide to text them like if the vibe makes sense, or if like especially if they follow people that I follow or that I know, that like makes me feel a little bit safer. But as far as like me traveling and wanting to meet new people while I travel, Her is not the best app because one, they only let you swipe like 15 profiles like a day, literally. And then two, you have to pay, it's like $70 for like 3 months. You have to buy them. I think it's in month increments. So I think the month is like $14.99. And then for 3 months, it's like $70. For a year, it's like $100 and something. Who in the world?
When they give me that 7-day free trial, though, I'm definitely taking it.
Yeah, I'm in there. I make sure I'm in there constantly.
Absolutely.
But it's hard because like I don't get free trials before every trip. And I want to make sure like when I go, I really want to use my time wisely. So I want to meet people before I get there. So like I want to chat with people and be like, hey, what do you have going on? Like Toronto worked out so perfectly because I got a free trial the week before I went to Toronto. So I met a lot of...
change the location.
Yeah, so I met a lot of people in Toronto through the app. They told me about events to go to. Like I went out for coffee with a few people. Like it was a good time because I could plan my time there. But if I get to the city that I'm in and I start swiping, then you gotta wait for bitches to swipe back. Then you gotta wait, for messages back. And by the time they hit you up, I'm on like the plane home and I'm like...
Maybe next time.
Yeah, literally, like maybe next time. Like, okay, well, we'll follow each other on Instagram, and then, of course, like you're never gonna see them again. Yeah. So, yeah, it just sucks. If anybody has any advice on which app works best for that, like maybe I should be on Bumble. Yeah. For that, I don't know what it looks like. Do you have a certain amount of swipes for Bundle or like Bumble?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I think Tinder is really the only app that has like unlimited swipes. And Hinge, I think Hinge.
No, Hinge does not.
Okay, so definitely I know Tinder you can swipe until your fingers bleed.
Really?
And, like it's fine, yeah.
Maybe I need to download Tinder.
Yeah, again. But and I think you can change locations on Tinder too, but I only think that's with Tinder Plus.
Okay.
So or Tinder Gold, whatever the fuck they call it.
I did have some statistics on like other people's experiences within the dating app. 64% of men versus 56% of women report having a positive experience within the dating app. So, I mean, people are having good times. However, 85% of both men and women report being excited and disappointed at their prospects and experiences on the app. So as happy as you are to be on the app, we also can say as like on a human level that it fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's like 14% of the time you're having a good time.
Pretty much.
That's pretty low.
Over 56% of people report receiving an unconsented, sexually explicit message from somebody. Has that ever happened to you?
With men and women.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Yeah, like it's actually kind of crazy. I matched with this one girl and like her profile seemed really fun and she was like, oh, I'm into like kink and things like that. So I was like, oh, this might be a good kink relationship to like get with, Yeah. And as soon as we matched, immediately she was like, what are you doing? I want to come eat your pussy. I was like, whoa, hold on. And then like, you can send a message and it's blurred.
Yeah.
Like if it's a photo, it's blurred. And then she sent a picture and I was like, oh, I'm not opening that. I don't know.
You didn't open it?
No, I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, from the blur, you can kind of tell that it's a person standing there and it's flesh tone colors. Yeah. So I was like, oh no, I'm just going to go ahead and unmatch here because like, I don't know. I think people with men, they don't really care. Like I'm also on FetLife.
Yeah.
And men really do not care about any of that shit. Like their profile picture is their dick. Yeah. So like I recently had a guy reach out to me, and we were like, he reached out and he was like, oh, love your profile, whatever. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. And he sent a message, and I just didn't really like the tone of the message. So, bitch, I didn't respond.
Yeah.
And then literally, like, maybe the next morning, I, like, opened the website, and it's a dick pic. And then he's like, what's with the radio silence?
Well,
and immediately I was like, what if
now
I'm
you're
not
blocked, nigga?
Yeah, I was like, what if I'm not interested? And then he said, bet. And then he blocked me. And I was like, that's fine. Why are you pissed?
Why would you think your dick is going to make me... this changed my mind.
Mind you, on my profile, it says that I'm all about queer black femmes.
And that's, niggas don't read. That's also the thing about... we could have a whole different conversation on like the straight landscape of dating apps.
Yeah.
But like niggas really will not read.
Yeah.
At all.
Even the women won't read either.
That's
like
true.
Even they're just swiping on whatever. And I think because people see you and they think you're they see your pictures and they're like, oh my God, this is an attractive person.
Yeah.
They just swipe without looking at the profile. And I think that is like huge, because there will be times where I'm swiping and I see someone, I'm like, oh, this is a beautiful person. It looks like they have such a good time. Look at all these great pictures. And then I go and scroll in their profile and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, I'm like, we're
not gonna match.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't live the same lifestyle.
Exactly. So it just is. Yeah. And it's like the profile is there for you to fill it out. So what even pisses me off more is people who are like, message me and find out.
Yes.
Bitch, if you don't motherfucking...
If you do not have any questions, so this is specifically for her because, you know, in Hinge, if you don't have any questions answered, or like you just have stickers of where you're located and where you're into, I'm automatically swiping left. If you don't have at least 2 pictures, I'm automatically swiping left, because like you did not take the time to take this fucking seriously. Like I'm not about to sit here and ask you about your whole life story for you to just end up not reciprocating or you know, I'm not even sure if we're gonna match up. I had the exact same experience with a woman. They had asked me for my Snapchat, which I'm very specific. After this situation, I put in my bio, do not ask me for my Snapchat. But I had given her my Snapchat. Immediately she sends me a picture of her asshole like spread open, and she's like, I really am into anal, have you ever tried anal?
No,
girl.
Even let's play 15 questions or 21 questions.
No,
and we weren't even fake like you're gonna ask me.
We weren't
questions.
even talking about anything sexually on the app. The closest thing we got to that is because I had the podcast at the time. I had the podcast in my profile, and so I was telling her like about how pleasure is important, like not necessarily sex, but like having a pleasurable life and like getting to experience like the different parts of pleasure, including sex. What about that made you decide, oh, I know this bitch is gonna love to see my asshole at 8:00 in the evening on a Thursday?
I think people hear pleasure and they immediately think sex. I don't think that they're like where we're at. We're like, pleasure is all things. Pleasure is comfort food and TVs and cuddles and hanging out with your friends and building community. Yeah, that isn't what comes to their mind. Like sex and pleasure are the same thing for a lot of people. So
that sucks. 42% of people had someone continue to contact them after an unmatch or said they weren't interested. Luckily, that's really not happened to me. I also, like I said, I really haven't been on any dating apps for straight people in 5 years. The only app I've had for the last few years is Her and Hinge. And I very specifically said I do not want to find men on these dating apps. That's not how I want to meet men. I still like meeting men, just not on fucking dating apps. Have you ever had somebody that like messaged you found you on Instagram later, found you on Twitter later, you know, kept hitting you up after you're like, this isn't for me? Well,
I don't have any of my social medias on any of my dating profiles for that reason. But I mean, I have been like texting with people and then I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm not interested. There's one guy that I met like just out and about, and he like approached me really respectfully. He seemed really nice. I was like, okay, yeah, cool, you can have my number, like whatever. So I gave him my number, and then he was like, oh, it was so great meeting you, like you look like a lot of fun, blah blah blah. And so I'm not a bitch, but anyway, he goes, I said, oh, you know, it was nice meeting you too. What about me seemed so fun? Because like,
I love that question so much.
Yeah, because like people are like, when you're really gonna fun. Yeah. And so I asked him that, and he was like, do you like to drink? And so, bitch, immediately I'm done. Like that, I'm done.
You didn't answer my question.
You didn't answer my question.
You can't follow instructions.
You can't follow instructions. You don't know how to fucking read.
And you're just trying to get me drunk?
And thank you, exactly. And so I didn't say, like, I just said LOL, and then I just, like, stopped responding. But then, like, over the next course of, like, 2 weeks, he's, like, texting me almost every other day. Like, oh, hey, when can I take you out? Hey, when can I take you out?
And at this point, you're just ignoring?
Yeah, at this point, I'm just ignoring it. And then the last message he sent to me was like, oh, I was trying to take you out, but I guess you're one of those. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay, I guess I am.
Bitch, I asked you a question, and the first thing you do is respond with a question that had nothing to do with what I said. And then when I didn't, like, when I said LOL, that's when he responded with, you just seem like you know how to have fun, it was the answer to the question.
So we can already see where this is going.
And I'm like, you just trying to fuck me.
And it's crazy how you want to approach me all respectful.
Yeah.
Get me thinking it might be, you know.
And it's not going to work on me, darling.
It's just like, because there's a way that you could be respectful and then say like, yo, I'm trying to fuck. But like, get there. Let them, let answer my fucking questions.
And your bubble's green and you're doing all this shit. What the fuck?
Blocked.
Like,
can you even block an Android?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, blocked. Hell no. 33% of people have been called racial slurs or offensive names on dating apps. Also has never happened to me because I've never let it get that motherfucking far. The second a weirdo, I feel like something is weird, I'm quick to unmatch people. Yeah. I'm really quick to unmatch people. If I don't like your energy or it feels like it's getting to that point, yeah, you're not. Yeah. Has that ever happened to you?
No, but that made me think of that. There was this one girl, I don't remember. I think like I matched with her and then she possibly matched with you as well.
Oh, no, she didn't match with me. She found me on Instagram.
Yeah, okay.
And she started messaging me about you. Well, like, she introduced herself and she was like, I love the podcast. And then she was like, and I've hit up Lex like a lot of times. I just wanted to make sure she's okay. Like something like that.
Yeah, but we were like messaging and then like, I don't know. I think she had said something weird, so I stopped like messaging back like as quickly.
Yeah.
And then that's when you sent me a screenshot and you were like, "Get your hose," and I was like, "No, bitch, this bitch is weird." And I think I sent you a screenshot of something she said to me, and then I sent her a message and I was like, "Hey, you know, I would really appreciate if you didn't like reach out to my friend on my behalf or anything like that. Like we don't really know each other." And then her response was, "Oh, you thought." I don't know what you thought, but I was obviously just hitting on the more attractive friend or some shit like that. I was like, oh, bitch, you're weird.
Okay. Yeah, wow.
I was like, oh, and you're weird. I was like, that is so crazy. And disrespectful. Yeah. I'm like, two bad bitches. I don't understand where, like.
Because she immediately started talking about, like, orgies and,
doing
things like that. And it was just, it was weird. It was weird.
It was weird. The whole interaction was weird.
That was weird, yeah.
Yeah.
60% of gay men report potential scam attempts from their matches.
The niggas scamming the niggas.
60% of the niggas on Grindr have reported this nigga trying to scam me. Also, haven't really experienced that with her, but I just feel like my guard is up a lot more than people on Grindr's guard is up. You know what I mean? Like niggas, like Grindr is a different.
Grindr is basically a glory hole.
Literally, it's an app. It's a glory hole app.
It's literally just a glory hole. Like I was friends with. I called them my gaybers because they were my gay neighbors.
Makes sense.
But like they were gay men, and we would like hang out at the pool, and like we'd have game night, we'd chat and everything. And one of them, like he would just meet people in the gay bars and just take them home, and they would just like fuck all night. I'm like, what? Are you on PrEP? Or did you use a condom?
Yeah.
And the answer was usually no. And I'm like,
for the condom?
Yes, and for the PrEP. I'm like, y'all niggas just out here raw dogging, ass fucking each other.
Damn. I mean, that is like one of the little subgroups within the app. You know, hashtag raw dog. Yeah. Or what is it? Bareback.
Yeah.
Hashtag bareback.
Yeah.
Girl.
I literally was like,
syphilis is going around, honey. It is not just HIV you have to worry about.
It reminds me of that TikTok I saw where it's this guy, he gets on the camera and his face is all swollen. And he's like, whose ever ass I ate after the club the other night, count your fucking days, bitch. And I knew he had syphilis in his eyes because of how like swollen and crusty and stuff they were. And red around the face. I was like, oh my God. Y'all need to keep some dental dams on y'all. Shit.
And also, maybe eating ass isn't what we should be doing after the club.
sweaty? Did you shit while you were at the club? Some people do that.
Oh, especially like if you're on coke, like coke. Sometimes you just gotta shit.
Sometimes you just gotta get it out, just real quick.
I mean, I know we've said like we would not want to have like a cis male on the show, but however, I do somehow want to have a conversation, maybe not on the podcast, but like some other way about Grindr and like why.
Yeah,
like
maybe we can like tiny mics and take to the streets.
Definitely. There's a part of me that has said on this podcast before, I would love a women's app like Grindr, where it is like, oh, you're trying to fuck and you're 20 feet away. Girl, let's meet in the bathroom and like, fuck it. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it seems kind of nasty.
Yeah. I think mostly because like now, where I'm at now, and like, if you're going to fuck me, I want to make sure you know how to do that. Like, and like do it the way I like it. I need to have time for you to know and get
for sure
where I'm at and what I need.
For sure.
So that way when it comes time for you to give me where I'm at and what I need, that you can actually do so.
I want the thrill. Yeah. You know, I definitely said last week that I don't want to fuck strangers, and that's true. Mm-hmm. But if I were to meet somebody in the club and we were dancing, and then they were like, let's go to the bathroom and let's make out. Yeah. Let's go to the bathroom. Let me finger you. Even the worst fingering couldn't be like that bad. Like it couldn't be a horrible experience unless they like, you know, accidentally slipped one in the booty or something. Like sounds like fun. Like let's do some drugs and figure it out in the bathroom. So I don't know if you see me
out in the bathroom.
If you see me out at the club and you're like, I got drugs and I'm trying to figure it out with her in the bathroom, I don't know, come up, talk to me.
Make sure there's no fentanyl in that shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you go first.
And I actually have naloxone on my person. Thanks. Shout out to the Pride Festival in Toronto. They were handing them out for free, and like somehow I made it home with them. I wasn't sure if I would be able to travel like across country lines with that. Yeah. But yeah, so I have like a few little stash of naloxone. So if anybody wants to have a good time and you want to make sure that you're safe, hit me up and I can actually get you some. I would love to be that resource. 40% of queer people report dating apps have made their dating lives experiences easier, while 21% has said that it's made it harder. Mm-hmm. I think that's just how you look at it, and what your goal is. Because I'm sure for somebody's goal, it's like, oh, I'm trying to meet new people and hook up occasionally. That's easy. That's easy to do. I'm trying to meet people I'm trying to meet people that will build a long-lasting relationship with me, a monogamous, wholesome relationship. Might be a little harder. Not impossible. It just might be a little harder specifically on dating apps. Mm-hmm. But I did go into like a little Reddit hole, and I noticed some trends. Like, you know, as you're reading through Reddit and you're like, oh, this person had this bad experience. This person had this bad experience. Most of them were these 4 things. Queer women having difficulties finding other queer women who want serious relationships, like we just said, because people be playing games. People don't want to respond. People don't know what they want. Yeah. Like they say they know what they want on the app, but they don't really know what they want. And just like you were saying, like know what you want and be clear about it. That's a problem for everybody. Bi-curious women looking for unicorns to bring home for their threesomes. Hire
a fucking sex worker. Okay. Y'all piss me off sometimes with that.
I hear you. Okay. But like, let's come down to reality for a second. As much as we are people that are open to experiencing sex workers, we want to support sex workers. We love the idea of sex workers. We understand the importance that they could hold in our community for situations like that. Your average Joe or your average Jane is not, especially the straight ones, are not thinking about that, and they're not open to it. So I bring that up to ask this question as a unicorn, as a gay ass unicorn, not just a bitch that likes to fuck couples, but you are queer and specific. And as somebody, this is coming from somebody who, back when I was 22, in my defense, I'm 28. But when I was 22, I was definitely on those apps. Like, oh, let me try to find somebody to bring home for a threesome, more for me, because I liked girls, but I was always dating men, so I wanted that. But I want to know how a woman can approach a unicorn for a threesome. And let me start by saying, like, maybe you should find out if they're a unicorn. Usually a unicorn would be in their profile. Like, I feel like you made sure
whenever
people knew that.
Yeah, whenever I was unicorning, I did have a little unicorn emoji in my bio somewhere.
Okay. And so whenever you found a successful couple, like, how did they approach you?
So it was usually the woman that approached me. There were a few times that the man approached me, but it's always them trying to get to know me as them individually, which I always respected. They're always like, oh, what do you like to do? Do you like this? Yeah. Like, we're having like normal get to know you questions.
Right.
And then they take me out on a date. Just the person that I have been communicating with.
Okay. Whether that's the woman or the man.
Yes.
Okay.
So they'll take me out on a date. And then, you know, we really get the vibes going at the date. We're like, oh, okay, is this going? And if it's going in the direction that we see it going, then at that point, they'll be like, so I'll start asking questions about their partner, or they'll start just telling me about their partner. And then at that point, like after the date, we'll arrange for all three of us to just meet up in a public space for a date.
Just to see if we all vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It wasn't it also wasn't them just being like, oh, we're looking for someone to have fun with. Like, it also was them in their profile, like, you know, I am looking for...
so these were more poly people?
Yeah, these were like usually poly people. And they would in the woman's profile or in the man's profile, it would usually say like, I am partnered, but I am looking for like other connections. And it's not specifically saying like, oh, I'm trying to meet you and fuck you, or I'm trying to meet you and share you. Like, it's not like, oh, this is what you're going to be doing when you come over here.
Right.
It was more so like, I do want to get to know you as a person and see if we vibe. And if we do vibe, then we could all vibe together.
So ultimately what you're saying to me, Lex, summarizing this up, is that you want to be treated like a human being.
And not like a fucking sex toy.
Yeah.
Which is why I always go to hire a sex worker. And I understand that people are not open to that and things like that. But I'm just saying, open your mind to it. That's why I continue to say it. Open your mind to it, because people who are unicorns or solo poly, or even just a regular person that's like, oh yeah, I would like to try a threesome. If you're treating them like your fucking vibrator that you keep in your drawer, like that is like a huge turn off. And like, I'm not into that kind of degradation. So like, it doesn't work on me. It's actually the quickest way to get me to block you, unmatch with you, and everything like that. Like, I need to know, because it's basically going to be 2-on-1. You guys have a established connection. I don't really know that.
The power dynamic is already shifted.
Exactly. I don't know what you guys are talking about or what you're planning for me or anything like that. Like, I don't know any of that stuff. So it just helps more when you can make a solid connection with one that can lead you into making a solid connection with the other.
That totally makes sense. I have never had a threesome with people I didn't know to some degree. Like, I remember my very first threesome was a girl that I met through a group of friends, and like, we became friends. And I told her I wanted to have a threesome, like not necessarily with her. And then she was just like, I'd be down. And like, we took her out. She hung out with me enough before she had met him like one time. It was like it was a process. It wasn't something that just happened. Like, you weren't just like, oh, I want a threesome, let's do it tomorrow. Like, no, it took like 2 or 3 weeks of like figuring out what each other like, figuring out if we actually vibe. And that's why they're good. Like, when you decide that you want to speed through the process of trying to find a threesome, it's not going to be good. It's going to be awkward. It might hurt your relationship because there's not boundaries that you have in place. You haven't discussed enough details with your partner. So I would just say, take your time finding your unicorn, and also take your time after you found the unicorn, take your time before you fuck them.
Yeah. Because, like, the second that somebody feels like you're just kind of using them for that, then that's it. Like, even the couple that I was, like, dating for a while, the only reason I stopped dating them was because they started, I don't know, I just started feeling like an outsider. And that doesn't make me want to come inside with you guys and, like, do anything with you guys. And, like... Sure. Especially when it was like, oh, we're having dinner, we're making this, please come over, we'll cook you dinner, we'll do this. Like, they're like doting on you. And that is why I also always say, like, 3 is such a good number for me. I love threesomes. And that's because most of my experiences with threesomes, even the first one I ever had at fucking 17, like, that was always the couple, like, making it a focus for me to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And for me to feel like the centerpiece of whatever the plan was, which I really enjoyed as well.
And that's also part of the fun. Like,
Yeah.
even as the couple side of it, it's fun to have this person to dote over and talk about and take out for dinner.
It's like
and
it's like you begin dating all over again.
Yeah, it's like fun. And you also have to have the right partner. This is specifically, I'm talking for straight couples right now, because I mean, I feel like queer threesomes, that's just a good time.
Yeah.
You know?
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, most of the time. But for straight couples, you have to also make sure that your partner really wants it as much as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that they respect your boundaries, but also the boundaries of somebody that they don't know as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is your like exit plan? I think if I were to, we could do another episode on threesomes, but like,
Yeah.
I think having an exit plan is really good. Like,
Yeah.
if one of us no longer wants to do this, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
How do we make sure everybody knows, hey, this was amicable, we enjoyed ourselves, but like, let's stop.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is really important.
I would love to have a threesomes episode. That's my area of expertise.
We have had one, but I think we should redo it in our grown age.
Yeah.
But I also want to have more threesomes, so I'll put that on my to-do list. Oh, back to trends that people, that the unicorns was just one of them. Random ghosting after seemingly solid conversation.
Mm-hmm. I hate that.
Hate it. Like, some people don't even unmatch. It's like the messages are just sitting in my inbox. Like, okay, great. I asked what your favorite movie was, and you were like, ooh.
And some of the apps tell you when they opened it. Like, it'll say seen.
Ooh.
I'm like, oh, you fucking bitch.
Okay.
Don't make me find your IP address, bitch.
You know how to do that?
No.
Okay. So I was like, I have a job for you. I have a few jobs for you.
I need some niggas. You gotta find them.
I think that maybe I also need to get better at this, because I have randomly ghosted people, but it's more because I don't have my notifications on.
I don't have my notifications on.
So what happens
either.
is you'll get busy. I won't be on the app for a few days or a week. And then you see these messages and you're like, ooh,
And most people don't give a fuck if you send that, oh my God, I don't have my notification. They don't give a fuck.
They don't care. So
they be like, all right, bitch, you gonna do this again. That's all I heard.
So then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just leave it, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe I need to do a better job of just saying, like, oh my gosh, hey, I'm not really in a space to like be on this app right now, but if you're open to it, I would love to hit you up when I have the time. That way you don't close the door, you're leaving it open, but you're also just being communicative. That's definitely something I could work on too. You're stuck within the app, you're stuck within socials. Like, they don't want to go out and meet in person. You don't want to necessarily text them. So it's just like your conversation just stays
in the app.
Or maybe like you move to Instagram DMs, but it's still nothing. It's like kind of like they just want to waste your time. I hate saying waste time. But like, to me, that's what you're doing. Because why are we talking on this app with the intention to meet, but then you never want to meet?
Yeah. I just know some, like, I've had one experience where we talked for a while on the app, and it was just because, like, meeting new people made her anxious.
Okay.
And, like, even if it was, like, a public space, it just is a lot of anxiety around it.
Okay.
So I just kind of, like, took it at her speed. And then when we met, it was cool, but, like, it just didn't
But
really
you got
go
to
further.
that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we just didn't go further than, like, the meeting in public. Like,
okay. Like, it just didn't, the vibe wasn't there for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Understandable. I also think even having social anxiety or any kind of, if you have a hang up about wanting to meet somebody, I think it's just good to communicate that. Yeah. I'm not saying that you don't have a right to like not want to hang out with somebody in person for a while, or you want to talk to somebody, but I would just state that at the beginning so that that other person that you're talking to can make a decision on whether I want to engage this much with somebody that doesn't want to meet in person. Because if my goal is to meet and build community in person, and you're telling me I just need a while, I'm not really active outside. Like, I spend most of my time at home. I'm more of a homebody, but I would love to have you over and communicate at home. Maybe that still wouldn't work for me, because I want somebody to go out with. I want somebody to go to events with. I want somebody to meet me for coffee. Like, that is your right. It's just, I just think people in general just need to be more communicative.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I have seen so much, little less on her, but it's there. They exist. Straight men on queer dating apps. And I don't mean non-binary people. I don't mean trans men. I don't mean
heterosexual
I
men.
mean cis hetero men that want to date lesbians or like want to see bisexual women or want to look for bisexual women or straight women or bisexual women or queer women for their threesome. Get off. Have your girlfriend do it. Have your friend that you're fucking do it. I do not want to see your ass on my app. Mm-hmm. Why do you think this is a place for you?
I don't know. I think straight men really like the idea of fucking lesbians.
Straight men love the idea of fucking anybody that doesn't really want to fuck them.
That is very true. Yes, I second that. It's almost like if you don't want to fuck them, they want to fuck you more, which is disgusting. And if that's you, baby, you're disgusting. And I hate you.
And if that's not you, we acknowledge you. Congratulations. You are a decent human being.
Actually, I don't think there's congratulations due. You should be being that's not a prize for being decent.
For some reason, the sarcasm was missed.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Neurodivergency really is a bitch, you know? But I wanted to include ways to overcome some of these struggles.
Okay.
I know you're probably going to look at me crazy when I say this because of our experience on one of them, but I want to say that there are more, and I'm a part of a few more that are a little bit better.
Okay, I'm scared.
Facebook groups. Regional lesbian queer Facebook groups. Like join, there are like 7 or 8 that I can name that are like specifically like lesbian queer Facebook groups in Dallas or like Dallas Fort Worth or like the Dallas Metroplex.
DFW.
The DFW Metroplex. Some of them are specifically like for Black people, which are great, even better. And then some of them are a little hodgepodge. But I would definitely say join a Facebook group. They have lots of meetups. They're very active. Like usually the moderators, they're
like posting like multiple times a day.
Yeah, and they post like community questions, and they have like meet and greets specifically for you to meet people within the group, to hang out with, build community with, date, marry. Like the options are really endless, and you know that if they're joining a Facebook group,
they're a real person.
They're real, and like they really have a goal of meeting people. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's not like passive. Facebook doesn't have like you can message somebody on Facebook all day. You can go back and forth on messaging, but it's not like the instant gratification isn't really there. You have to wait to get approved. You have to answer a set of questions. You know, it's a process. It's a process. I really recommend Facebook groups. If you want to be plugged into some of the Black, queer, lesbian Facebook groups, please hit us up on our Instagram and we will get you connected with them, because I know some of them you have to have invitations.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to give that invitation out, just so like you can build your own community with people that you know are like looking for the same things as you.
Yes.
Another one I would recommend, we went to one on Wednesday. Collectives. Play things that you can like go out with the same people every month, and like dinner parties, book clubs.
Facebook groups are really good for that. Or Eventbrite. If you go on Eventbrite, that is where you can find a lot of things like in your area, and most of the time they're free on Eventbrite, but they're there so that when people are like, what can I do in Dallas this weekend, it'll pop up as things going on in Dallas,
and you could just meet these people straight up, and chances are you've probably already matched with them on your dating app, or you've seen them while you're swiping, and you can be like, obviously don't be like, oh my god, like we matched on Hinge, like, but you can just be like, oh my gosh, it's really great to see you out in person. And like, and that's like a great conversation starter. I knew like 2 or 3 people from the event on Wednesday that I had seen just in life.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, we've never spoken in person, but like, it's really great to see you out here.
There was a girl I went on a date with there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll happen too. You got to be open to all experiences when you do the in-person event.
I had no problem. She's still super cute. I really had no problem. It just wasn't giving.
Yeah.
And so we just didn't go on another date. So.
And I mean, you were chatting, right? A little bit.
Yeah, we chatted. Yeah. She sat right next to me.
Yeah. So like no harm done. And then lastly, you brought this up at the beginning, but I think it's a lost art form, and I really want to broaden my community so that my community can broaden me.
Oh, okay.
Set up your friends.
Yeah.
Set up your friends on dates, on friend dates even. Like, be like, hey, girl, I vibe with this person a lot, and I actually think you would kind of vibe with them too. Like, let me connect you guys. Like, let's go out as a threesome and like go do something fun, and then start
See
connections.
how that works.
Yeah, just start connections like that. But I think setting up our friends is a lost art.
I also think that it can be a little hard to set up your friends because, like, bitch, if it crashes and burns, that's on me.
That's two people you got to deal with.
Two different people I got to deal with. And then one of them is probably just going to be so pissed that I'm the source that they're like, oh, I can't even.
That's so true.
I can't even fuck with this bitch that closely anymore, So
that's so true.
It's a hit or miss for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like.
I think it's good to like have a party and then invite the people and then let them do the meeting, do that themselves because then it's not like I directly influenced it. I kind of indirectly influenced it.
I don't know. I feel like if it crashed and burned to the extent of which it would crash and burn, it don't matter how you met. It's like, you brought that bitch. I can't believe you invited that bitch to that party. Why would you even think about that? Why are you even friends with that hoe?
True, yeah.
So, you know what? But set up your friends. Set up me. I do have some, before I move on, I did see this post on Reddit, and I was like, your mind. Like, we've been talking a lot about the algorithm and like how a lot of apps don't even have like that Hinge related algorithm where like it's gonna show you more of what you're swiping on, which Hinge is very good at that.
That
like,
is such a good feature.
I don't even get white people on my Hinge. I'll get the occasional like non-black person, but they're never white.
Yes.
And I'm always interested. I'm like, oh, they still seem right up my alley. Like, I'm interested. Hinge is great for that. So if you want a no nonsense swiping, you just can only swipe like
I like all their
15
questions and their prompts and how you
can do voice notes.
You can do
on
voice
Hinge.
notes. You can do like little videos. Like Hinge is such like you can just really
tell who a person is.
Yeah, and you can really personalize your profile. Like the things you find funny. I like the poll option as well, where it's like, if we were to go out, and which things would you pick? And like, I like how. Yeah, I like the personalization features on Hinge, and I also really enjoy like the curating what you swipe right on versus what it shows you next. It just, I don't know, it feels very personal whenever I'm on Hinge, which I really, really like as well.
You don't really get, like, not catfishes, but like, you don't have to do a lot of guesswork on who a person is, because Hinge is just very, it's a very personal app. So I fuck with Hinge. It sucks that you do have to pay for a lot of the features on Hinge, like a lot of them, and you really can only use Hinge for like 20, 30 minutes. If you're not messaging people, like, you could only use it for a set amount of time, like a day. It really is not going to allow you to sit on the app, which is good, because I feel like that's also how it turns into a Tinder or like a POF or whatever, where you're just kind of like in limbo with a lot of people.
Yeah. They have that feature too where you can like say that you went out on a date with someone.
Like a review.
And then you can rank the date. So that way, like,
people know.
Yeah, well, I don't think it shows other people. I just think it probably helps with when you're swiping, like, people not to recommend you because the date with this person went this way. But it will ask if you've met up with this person.
That's a very intuitive algorithm.
Yeah.
But anyway, other than Hinge, and maybe Bumble. I haven't been on Bumble in so fucking long, bitch. But I feel like I'm going to download it after this. So I'll just read the post. It says, after all my failed dating attempts at finding a partner using a dating app, I ended up with this conclusion. If I would build a dating app, how do I keep people paying for as long as possible for it? Why would a service like this actually match you with people suitable to be your partner when the revenue is made by people using the app? I mean, really think about it. If their algorithms would work as intended, you would find your partner pretty fast, and thus you would stop using the app. If you stop using the app, you're not paying for them anymore. This is the main reason why I think dating apps are actually flawed and not focused on the right people finding each other, but sometimes the opposite. So for all you disappointed people using apps, it's not you. People are not the shit. People are not shit, and the right person for you is out there. The apps are just meant to keep you searching, so you keep using them and keep paying. What you are paying for is, in fact, the service of putting you in touch with, like, the community in general.
Yeah.
The community at large. I fuck with that.
Capitalism is the root of everything. Awful.
Literally. Like, even if you're not seeking a marriage or seeking a long-term relationship, I think these things can still be true, that it's just really not going to show you the people that it thinks that you would enjoy, because why else would you keep swiping? If you met all the best people for you in the first 3 months of using the app, why would you use it 2 years later? So, Yeah. I do have some questions for the girls before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Of the trends mentioned above, which one have you experienced the most?
I forgot what the trends were.
Okay, just any of the trends. Like any, like unicorn hunters, straight men, people ghosting.
Oh, I do definitely like unicorn hunters and straight men a lot. That happens a lot. I even recently just matched with a girl and we were chatting and like she mentions her boyfriend in her profile, but like it's not the focus of her profile, which I really enjoyed. But like as soon as we matched, I'm like, oh, your profile's so great. Like, you know, it looks like you have a lot of fun. And then I asked her a question based off something that she had on there. And immediately she sends me this long paragraph and is like, she answered my questions, but then she was like, yeah, me and my boyfriend are looking for this and this and this. Like, here's my phone number.
Now it's all about the boyfriend. Now he's included. And now it's you and your boyfriend. At first it was like, oh, this is kind of my thing.
Yeah. And then I even said to her, I was like, I would very much prefer to like get to know you and see if we even vibe before trying to vibe with you and your boyfriend. But like,
chances are we not gonna vibe.
Yeah. And so then she was like, oh yeah, of course, that's totally fine. But then like when we started another conversation, ghosted. So I'm like, I don't understand. So I think that is like one thing. And I think because I'm so open to couples that like somebody saying that they have a boyfriend isn't a deterrent for me to swipe left on them. Like if they're cute and it seems like we would vibe in other ways, I'm totally open to it. But the second you make us meeting all about your boyfriend, I'm out. Like, I'm totally out.
Yeah, I feel that. I've actually come across more women on her that have said in their profile, I have a boyfriend, but he's not interested in playing at all. This is just for me. But with that, I'm kind of hesitant. Like, depending on how the rest of their profile is built, sometimes I'll swipe right. Most of the time I swipe left. But just because I feel like, one, if he's not going to be involved, then I don't know how much I could trust him as a man. And I've been that person. That's why sometimes it's hard for me to articulate, because I don't want to offend anybody, because I've literally been that person where I'm like, I've had a boyfriend, but I really just want to like experience women on a different level, and like it doesn't really have to involve them. It can, but it doesn't have to. But like from my side now, as being a single person that is in this field, yeah, I'm just good on it. For the most part, I'm really good on it. If whether he's involved or not, I don't want to be treated like an experience
or like an escape.
That
is what when people say that, that's usually like how I read it. And like,
because that's exactly what I was looking for, bitch.
Yeah,
I was like, I need somebody that cares about me.
But here's the funny thing: we were both looking for an escape, so that's why it worked. That's why it worked, and that's why we're here now, because we were both like, nah.
And you know what? We escaped though.
Yeah,
it took, how many months did it take? Like 2.5, 3?
It took like 3 months, and then we both were like, yeah, nah, this gotta go. We were like, this is really fun, and this is really vibey, and this is probably what it should feel like when you're around someone who cares about you and like really enjoys your company. And it's like, yeah, nah, I gotta did this other shit. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. What is your, I think we talked about this. What is your suggestion for women looking for genuine, long-term, clear relationships outside of the apps?
I think to like try to, I know like saying be less anxious isn't helpful, but I think really like talking to people is the best way to do it. Like, especially if you do frequent the gay bars and stuff, like chat up people. Like even when you're like waiting in the line to get in, that's the perfect time to chat someone up. If you're waiting to get a drink, also perfect time to chat someone up. If you're in the bathroom, perfect time to chat someone up. I think just having conversations with people is really important, especially like outside of social media and things like that. So that's what I would say, is just like try to talk to more people as yourself outside of the app. Because even when we went to the mixer, like it was just really cool to not even talk to people in a flirty way, like literally just talk to people.
Like, and that's why I say collectives and groups are good, because you're in a room with a bunch of other people that are specifically there to meet other people.
Yeah, and in what capacity, that depends.
Right,
But like,
you have to talk to find out.
Yes, but you do have to talk to people to find out. Yeah, that is it. And I think as lesbians, okay, and I'm talking to the lesbians because y'all piss me off. I see so many TikToks where they're like, oh my God, yeah, we were making so many eyes at each other at the bar and then I left and we didn't talk. Like, why is that normal for us? Like, why is that? And then they're like, I don't know how to talk to women. But I'm like, okay, but you want them, so like go talk to them. Like, I understand the making the eyes and stuff. Half the time, if I see someone making eyes at me and I also am interested, I'm going to at least like get myself in the vicinity of where they are and like compliment their outfit or ask them how they're doing or something like that. But like just the consistent making eyes across the bar, the room or whatever, that's not going to get you anywhere.
Right.
So I get it, lesbians. Women are pretty and they're intimidating.
Mysterious.
And you want to just give them a little kiss and go on about your day. I get it. Please, no, I get it. But how are you going to find a bad bitch if you're scared of talking to bad bitches? Like, just go talk to her, damn it.
Wow.
Fucking lesbians, man.
Are you gonna get a bad bitch if you're scared to talk to bad bitches? You know, I'm not scared. It's more that I don't want to bother them. I know that sounds horrible.
Okay, but like if they're in a space with other bad bitches and they're also looking for bad bitches, how is that a bother?
Sometimes.
And it's also about how you approach them. Like, I think what a lot of women are afraid of when it comes to speaking to women, because I can be included in this, is coming off as men to other women.
I'm never really concerned about that because I don't really approach women
I
like
don't
men.
I don't either, like, but I don't want them to feel like that feeling you get when a man comes up to you and you don't want to talk to them, you know?
Yes, I understand that. I think I'm just like, even if I would want to be friends with people, like, because there are actually people that I'm like, oh, we would really get along. Like, there was a person at the mixer, I'm like, I love them so much. We've known of each other for I don't know how long, like before I even knew you. Like, but whenever I'm in person, I'm like, ooh, I just don't know if I have like the cool chops. And sometimes if I do know them previously, I feel like I know them too well. And then I don't want to talk to them because it's like, well, I know about you, but you may not know as much about me. And then like I'm asking you questions because I know about you, and it just feels like maybe I already know about you, and like there's no discovery there. I just feel like I've been a watcher of your life. And like,
but what you see on social media isn't
for sure.
Yeah.
But because of that, like, I'm not saying like, oh, maybe sometimes I am like, oh, she's too cool for me. Like, what do I have really to bring to the table?
Brittany, you're so cool and you're so funny and you're so sweet and cute.
I agree. Yeah. Like, I know I'm all those things, but I'm not somebody to like present that. Even on my Instagram, I just don't present that. Like, I'm not funny on my Instagram. Like, I'm not, cool. Like, I just let people that find me ask me questions, but people aren't always going to do that. And so I tend to wait for people to like, even if I were to approach a woman, here we go. If I were to approach a woman, I say like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. Like, you're so beautiful. Hey, how are you? I will continue to ask them questions about them, not really giving them an opportunity to ask me questions, or maybe they just don't care enough to ask me questions. But I don't present myself like, oh, well, I'm Courtney. Here's all the cool things about me, or here's some of the cool things about me, or I really like Britney Spears that's playing right now in the club. If you don't ask me, I'm never going to tell you, and you're never going to know how cool I am. That's why I think I have a hard time talking to women, because if you're not as interested in the conversation as I am, in as far as like asking people questions, you're just never going to know about me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give it to you. You have to work for that. And that's like something I'm trying to work on.
Yeah, but giving a little isn't like bad. Like, whenever I am talking to women and like they start telling me things about themselves, as we're talking, I try to find little ways to like work in things about me, like while we're chatting about whatever it is that they just said. Like, it doesn't have, the asking them questions doesn't have to be all about them. Once they answer you and you get the conversation going, that you can bring that to something that relates to you. You know, you don't have to give everything as soon as you meet them, but like giving someone something is better than giving them nothing, because then like if you seem closed off while you're talking to them, then it kind of, at least for me, it makes it hard for me to even ask you questions because you don't seem open to having them, answering them.
I don't think I seem closed off when I say I'm not going to give you anything. I guess I mean more like whenever you tell me like, oh, I really love Kill Bill. I fucking love Kill Bill. And I might say, oh my God, I fucking love Kill Bill. But if I say anything after that, I feel like I'm taking away from like your moment, like I'm just trying to find these commonalities between us, and like then I'm taking away from your moment by immediately talking about myself. And I think I used to do that as a young person, and it didn't serve me well. And so now I just don't do that anymore, because it feels like I'm being selfish by saying like you know, when you're talking about a breakup and you're like, well, you know, my breakup, this happened. It's like, okay, well, we're talking about my breakup right now, or like we're talking about my experience with this movie, even if it's small. I'm just like
that we're like that. All of us are like that now. Like all of us have that mentality where it's like
came from.
I think it comes from the over therapy talk where people are like, you need to let people have their moment, and like you do need to let people have their moment, but the whole point of talking to someone, especially initially, is for both of you to get to know each other. Yeah. So how am I taking your moment away from you when I'm not giving you a moment? I'm asking you something to start a conversation. Yeah. So if I'm asking you, like you say to me, I like Kill Bill, and I'm like, oh my God, I love Kill Bill. Insert a scene that you like right after. Do you like the scene where blah, 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 this happened? Yeah. That starts a whole conversation. That opens a door for the banter to go back and forth, for it to feel balanced. But like, you don't like, that isn't making it about you. It's finding commonality when you're talking to someone is important to having a conversation. Right. So if you don't have any opportunities to find commonality, how are you going to have a conversation that isn't all about the other person or all about you? So like I totally get the like, I don't want to make it about me when this other person is talking. I totally get that, especially in like really serious emotional conversations. But if you're just getting to know each other, that's the whole point of the conversation that you're having.
But I also don't want anybody like that doesn't really have an interest in getting to know me to get to know me. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know, bitch, ask a motherfucking question, ho.
Ask a motherfucking question, ho.
If you want to be friends, ask a motherfucking question. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's all I got, bitch. If this is your first time listening to us, follow us on Instagram at allyourpleasures_. Same with TikTok. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. You can go to our website, thepleasuresallyours.com, to read up a little bit about us, find out where you want to listen to your podcast on. And whether you're listening to this on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, bitch, we love you. Bye.